What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman here for Stokastic.com, and I am back finally because the play-in is here and the contenders are here. It is Tuesday, April 15th. I'm going to break down the top 5 plays on DraftKings for today's two-gamer. It feels so good to talk about real basketball again. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. That is where you're going to get the updates to all of the top 10s for DraftKings and FanDuel, and any links to the live streams I'll be in later tonight, breaking down this stuff even more. Karis Levert's on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites, my top 5 plays of the day? It's time to find out. First up at number 5, I'm going to Franz Wagner. Great matchup here for Orlando against Atlanta. Obviously, Atlanta gets to face the Orlando defense. Not ideal. Orlando gets to face Atlanta. Not the best defense in the world. Small forward eligible, always a difficult position to fill, especially on a 2-game slate. 8,500, 28 points, just shy of 7 boards. All right, we'll call it 5.5 assists. I hate saying and a half, but I feel like I do it all the time. 2 stocks, projected for 48. The goal is 53. Optimal lineup 44% of the time. I really like this matchup, and I like both of the main dudes for Orlando. I do tend to like Paolo a little bit more. I think his matchup fits him a little bit better, but it's not like Franz can't go off here. And I just like this spot for Orlando in general. I expect them to win this game. And if they're going to do it, at least one of Franz and Paolo are going to do it. And I think Franz can do it 44% of the time. In at number 4, I'm going to Jimmy Butler. I feel like he lives for games like this. Taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, small forward, power forward eligible, 8K. I gave him 38 minutes, and I think he could play 44 probably, or something in that neighborhood. I wouldn't even be surprised if he didn't come off the floor. You saw him play massive minutes in the OT game in game 82 when they were trying to get out of this play-in. No reason they're not going to do the same thing today and try and lock down that extended break. I'm sure Butler and Curry and Draymond all want to take a little bit of an extended break before they get into their first round. 8K. Almost 23 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, 2 stocks, 45 fantasy points. The goal is 50. I do like this spot here for Jimmy. Memphis fouls a little bit. He could be hunting someone like Triple J, try to get him off the floor. Triple J can't stop fouling. I think this is a really interesting matchup for Jimmy Butler here, and I think they desperately want the win. 38 minutes is the projection, and I think it could go higher than that. If it does, he'll look even better. More Golden State in at number 3. That's going to be Brandin Podziemski. Point guard, shooting guard eligible, 6K, 15 points, 7.5 boards, 4.5 assists, 2 stocks. I got him in for 36 minutes. Played huge minutes in their game 82. The minutes have been huge as of late. Projection looks great. The MPE is very helpful. The thing I'm most interested in here, and it affects Podziemski more than it affects Steph or Jimmy Butler or Draymond. It's the status of Jonathan Kuminga. Kerr pulled the plug, man. He didn't play him at all in the final game of the season. What does that mean for today? Is he out of the rotation again? How does Kuminga feel about that? Have to assume he was pretty pissed. Assuming he's out of the rotation, you feel outstanding about Podziemski's minutes. You wouldn't be surprised about 40, and you just have so much more to go around for the rest of the guys in the rotation. Now, that doesn't affect the main stars of the team, but for someone like Podziemski, if you assume that Kuminga's not playing, you feel great about 36-plus minutes. That's why I have him in here at number 3. The most expensive guy on today's slate is in here at number 2, and that is Paolo Banchero. I absolutely love this matchup for Paolo. I don't think Atlanta is equipped to stop him in isolation. They haven't been great at it this season, and I think it's going to be even worse in a playoff scenario. I also think that as a pick and roll ball handler, Paolo Banchero is in a pretty decent spot to take advantage of this Atlanta defense. He's 9,500, power forward only. I'm expecting him to play 40 minutes, 30 points, almost 10 boards. We're talking about basically a 50-50 shot at a double-double, 5.5 assists, a stock and a half, 54 fantasy points. The goal is 58. This is your most expensive guy on today's slate. There's nobody above 10K, nobody above Paolo Banchero. I really don't see a better way to pay up today. I like him more than Steph. I like him more than Trae Young. I like him more than the Memphis guys. If I can just pay up all the way to the top, I am going to do that today. And I'm going to do that with Paolo Banchero. The number one contender for today is going to be Draymond Green. 37 minutes. In theory, could play more in a competitive matchup. Power forward, center eligibility, great flexibility here. Late game as well, so that's helpful. 6,300, 12 points, 8 boards, almost 7 assists, 3 stocks. He's filling up the stat sheet. Like, clearly you're not getting there from points, but you want them from Draymond, but you know that the rebounds and the assists and the stocks are going to be there. Pace of this matchup is fantastic for Golden State as well. 38 fantasy point projection, 42-point goal, optimal lineup 51% of the time. I talked about Kuminga in previous sections. You know, that's probably better for Draymond if Kuminga is not out there. If there's a little bit more spacing for everybody else, that's probably a good thing, depending on their rotations. I don't know. But it does make me like Draymond quite a bit here. And I love the matchup for him. I expect him to get in Jaren Jackson's head, maybe bait him into a foul or two. This kind of matchup for guys like Steph and Draymond and Butler, guys that have been there before, seen it all. I love this spot for the Golden State Warriors. That's why 3 of these guys are in my top 5. They're the best team going. But the best player today that you can roster is Draymond Green. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Tuesday, April 15th. The top 10s are already posted to my Twitter account for DraftKings and FanDuel, and I will have updates later today before lock. I don't expect a ton of changes. We're at the play-in. We don't have fake guys and Q tags and all of that other nonsense anymore. We can just have fun. So I hope you guys have some fun too. Sign up for the Portfolio EV tool at oddshopper.com using the link in the description.